June 6, 1944. D-Day, Omaha Beach. The deadliest 6 hours in American military history. 2,400 men killed. Thousands more wounded, blood turning the ocean red. But here's what they don't tell you. It could have been so much worse. Hitler had 60 divisions in France. 60. That's nearly 1 million soldiers. If he put them all at Normandy... D-Day would have been a massacre. The invasion would have failed. But he didn't. He kept 20 divisions 200 miles away. At Calais, waiting for an invasion that would never come. Why? Because he believed the real invasion was happening at Calais, led by America's most aggressive general, George S. Patton. Here's the problem. Patton wasn't at Calais. There was no invasion at Calais. The entire army Hitler was watching. Fake. Fake planes. Fake tanks. Fake ships. Fake radio messages. Fake everything. It was the biggest military deception in human history. And it saved D-Day. This is Operation Fortitude. The lie that won World War II, 1943. The Allies are planning the invasion of France. Operation Overlord, the largest amphibious assault in history. But they have an impossible problem. The Germans control the entire coast of France. 2,400 miles of coastline, from Spain to Belgium. Every beach, every port, every cliff. And they know the invasion is coming. They just don't know where. Hitler has built the Atlantic Wall, concrete bunkers, artillery batteries, machine gun nests, millions of mines, thousands of obstacles on every beach. If the Germans know where the Allies are landing, they'll concentrate everything there. It'll be a slaughter. The Allies need the Germans to be in the wrong place, looking the wrong way, defending the wrong beach. They need the greatest deception in military history. They need Operation Fortitude, London, 1943. A secret department called the London Controlling Section is designing the impossible, led by Colonel John Bevan, British intelligence officer. Absolute genius. His job, make Hitler believe a lie so big, so detailed, so perfect that he never questions it. The lie. The invasion is coming at Pas-de-Calais, 200 miles north of the real target. Why Calais? Think about it. Look at a map. Calais is the closest point from England to France. Only 20 miles across the English Channel, Dover to Calais. You can almost see it on a clear day. It's the obvious choice, the shortest route, the fastest way to Germany. Any logical military commander would choose Calais, so the Allies would make Hitler believe they were doing the obvious thing. Operation Fortitude wasn't one deception. It was two. Fortitude North. Make the Germans think the Allies are invading Norway. Keep German troops in Scandinavia, away from France. Fortitude South. Make the Germans think the main invasion is coming at Calais. Make them keep their best troops there, even after D-Day happens at Normandy. The second part is crucial. Even after D-Day, Hitler had to believe Calais was still the target. That Normandy was just a diversion. If they could pull that off, Hitler would keep his panzer divisions at Calais while the Allies broke out of Normandy. But how? How do you create a fake invasion? How do you fool the entire German intelligence network? How do you make Hitler believe in an army that doesn't exist? Southeast England, Kent, Dover, 1944. The Allies are about to create the most elaborate theater production in history. And the audience? German spies and reconnaissance planes. Meet FUSAG, 1st United States Army Group. On paper, 150,000 troops, 11 divisions, hundreds of tanks, thousands of vehicles. Commanded by General George S. Patton. In reality, 12 soldiers and an absolute ton of fake equipment. Let me show you how they built this masterpiece. The fake bases. They created entire military bases in southeast England, near Dover and Kent, right across from Calais. But here's the genius. They didn't build real bases. They built movie sets. Fake barracks made of wood and canvas. From the ground, they looked real. From the air, they were perfect. Fake mess halls with smoke coming from chimneys. Empty buildings with fires inside to create smoke. Fake motor pools with hundreds of vehicles. Except the vehicles were inflatable rubber or wooden frames covered in canvas. Fake supply dumps. Crates stacked everywhere. Empty crates, or crates filled with dirt. Fake fuel storage tanks, oil drums, all empty, or filled with water. And they didn't just build this stuff, they maintained it. Every few days they'd rearrange everything. Move vehicles, create new tire tracks, make it look like constant military activity. German reconnaissance planes would fly over. Take photos. German intelligence would analyze them. Massive American buildup near Dover, clearly preparing for Calais invasion. The inflatable army. Remember the ghost army from my last video? They were here, creating Patton's fake army. Inflatable Sherman tanks, hundreds of them. Positioned around Kent. Inflatable artillery pieces. Fake anti-aircraft guns. Fake landing craft in the harbors. From 500 feet up, in a reconnaissance plane, perfect replicas. But it gets better. The sound deception. The Ghost Army's sonic trucks were working overtime, playing recordings of tank engines starting and stopping troops during drills and exercises, equipment being loaded onto ships. Officers shouting commands. German listening posts along the French coast could hear all this activity. They reported heavy military preparation across from Calais. Sounds like armor divisions, the fake radio traffic. This is where it gets insane. The Allies created an entire fictional command structure, complete with radio communications. Hundreds of radio operators sending thousands of fake messages. This is FUSAG HQ to 5th Armored Division, ... request supply drop at coordinates ... General Patton will inspect troops at 1400 hours ... single quotes. The Germans were intercepting everything. They plotted it all on maps, created organizational charts. They KNEW the structure of FUSAG, except FUSAG didn't exist. The Patton factor. But the genius move? Putting George S. Patton in command of this fake army. Why Patton? Because the Germans respected him. They feared him. Patton had kicked their ass in North Africa, Sicily, Italy. He was aggressive, brilliant, dangerous. German intelligence believed if there's a major invasion coming, Patton will lead it. So when they saw evidence of Patton commanding FUSAG near Dover, they believed the invasion was coming at Calais. The Allies made sure Patton was seen in southeast England, inspecting fake troops, visiting fake bases. German spies reported every sighting. But here's the brilliant part. Patton hated this. He wanted to fight. Instead, he was commanding rubber tanks. Eisenhower told him, "George, you're going to save more lives with this fake army than you ever could in real combat." Patton replied, "That doesn't make it any less embarrassing." By May 1944, German intelligence was convinced FUSAG exists. It's the largest Allied army group. It's positioned across from Calais. Patton is commanding it. The invasion is coming at Calais. Every piece of evidence pointed to it. But physical deception alone wasn't enough. The Germans had spies everywhere in England. If just one spy got close enough to touch a rubber tank ... the entire operation would collapse. They needed another layer. They needed to control the spies themselves. Here's something the Allies knew that Hitler didn't. Every single German spy in Britain was working for the Allies, not some, not most, all of them. This is the XX system, double cross, run by MI5, British intelligence. Here's how it worked. When a German spy landed in Britain, MI5 would catch them, usually within days, sometimes hours. Then they'd give the spy two choices. 1. Be executed as a spy. TWO, work for us. Send fake information back to Germany. And live. Guess what they chose? By 1944, MI5 controlled 40 double agents, all sending messages to Germany, all controlled by British intelligence. The Germans thought they had an incredible spy network in Britain. They had nothing, and now? I5 would use these double agents to sell Operation Fortitude. The star agents. Let me introduce you to the actors in this play. Agent Garbo, Juan Pujol Garcia, Spanish. The best double agent of WW2. The Germans thought he was their top spy in Britain. They gave him medals. Codename Arabelle. The British called him Garbo because he was such a good actor. Garbo created an entire network of fake sub-agents, 27 fictional spies. The Germans thought he controlled a massive espionage ring. He'd send reports. Sub-Agent 3 reports seeing Patton at Dover. Sub-Agent 7 confirms tank buildup near Kent. Fall fiction. All believed. Agent Brutus, Roman Chernyavsky, Polish Air Force officer, captured by Germans, turned double agent. The Germans trusted him completely. He had direct radio contact with Berlin. His reports on Fusag were considered highly reliable intelligence. Agent Tricycle, Dusan Popov, Serbian playboy, lived in luxury while spying. The Germans loved his reports because they were detailed, technical, convincing. All fake. MI5 orchestrated everything these agents reported. They'd write the messages. The agents would send them. The Germans would receive independent confirmation of Fusag from multiple sources. Garbo reports army buildup at Dover. Brutus confirms. Tricycle provides troop numbers. 3 different spies. 3 different sources, all saying the same thing. To German intelligence, this was proof. Independent verification. But it was all MI5 writing the script. Directing the play, but feeding false information to spies wasn't enough. The Germans had other ways to gather intelligence. Aerial reconnaissance, radio intercepts. They had to make sure everything matched. Every detail. Every lie had to align perfectly. German intelligence gathered information from everywhere. Spy reports, aerial reconnaissance photos, radio intercepts, prisoner interrogations. Newspaper analysis, port observations, every source had to tell the same story. The Allies had to control it all. Aerial reconnaissance. The Luftwaffe still had reconnaissance planes. They'd sneak across the channel, photograph England, fly back. The Allies KNE when these flights were happening. British radar tracked them. So before a German plane arrived, they'd prepare the set. They'd inflate the tanks, position them perfectly. Create tank tracks, set up dummy soldiers. The plane would photograph it. The photos would go to German intelligence. Confirmed heavy armor concentration at Dover after the plane left. They'd deflate everything, pack it away, wait for the next performance. The press. The Allies used newspapers as a weapon. They'd plant stories in British papers about Patton inspecting troops, Fusag training exercises. Build up near Dover. German intelligence read everything published in Britain. They saw the newspaper stories. More confirmation, prisoner interrogations. When German posts were captured, they'd be interrogated. But before interrogation, British intelligence would accidentally let them overhear conversations. Did you hear? Patton's army is massive. Biggest force we've ever assembled. They're going to hit Calais hard. During interrogation, the Germans would try to extract information. The post would reveal what they overheard. That information would get back to Germany. More confirmation, the diplomatic channel. Here's the sneakiest part. The Allies used neutral countries. Swedish diplomats in London would report what they saw back to Stockholm. German intelligence had sources in Stockholm. They'd intercept the reports. So the Allies would arrange for Swedish diplomats to accidentally see Fusag activities. The diplomats would report it. The Germans would intercept it. Independent confirmation from neutral source. Every angle, every channel, every source. All saying the same thing, Calais. By May 1944, German High Command's intelligence assessment read, Allied invasion force estimated at 89 divisions. Main concentration, Southeast England opposite Calais. Commander, General Patton. Invasion expected, Pas-de-Calais sector. Time frame, late May or early June. They got the time frame right. They got the commander right. They got everything else wrong. Adolf Hitler himself studied the reports. He agreed with the assessment, Calais. He ordered the 5th Army to defend Calais, his best divisions, strongest defenses. Meanwhile, Normandy, 200 miles south, lighter defenses, fewer troops. The Allies had done it. They'd fooled Hitler. But now came the hardest part. D-Day was coming. The real invasion, at Normandy. Would the Germans figure it out before the landings? Would they move troops from Calais to Normandy? And the biggest question, after D-Day happens, will Hitler still believe Calais is the main target? June 5, 1944, 11 p.m., 180,000 Allied soldiers are boarding ships and planes. The invasion is hours away. But in southeast England, near Dover, the fake Fusag army is still there, preparing for the Calais invasion. June 6th, 12:30 a.m., British and American paratroopers drop behind Normandy beaches. The Germans detect them. They report to High Command. Enemy paratroopers landing in Normandy sector. German officers debate. Is this the invasion or a diversion? Remember, they've been trained to expect feints. The Allies have been running small deceptions for months, false alarms. So the question, is Normandy real? Or is it a trick to pull forces away from Calais? 6:30 a.m. The naval bombardment begins. Thousands of ships. Thousands of tons of explosives hitting the beaches. The Germans report. Major amphibious assault at Normandy. Omaha, Utah, Gold, Juneau, Sword beaches. Hitler is woken up. He's briefed. His generals want to send reinforcements from Calais. Send the panzer divisions. Hitler says, wait, this could be a diversion. Patton's army is still at Dover. They haven't moved. The real invasion might still be coming at Calais. He orders the 5th Army to stay at Calais. The panzers don't move. Throughout D-Day, as thousands of American soldiers are dying on Omaha Beach, the German 5th Army sits at Calais, waiting for an invasion that will never come. If those divisions had been at Normandy, D-Day might have failed. But they weren't there, because they were guarding against ghosts. But the Allies aren't done. D-Day was just the beginning. Now they need to keep the lie going. They need Hitler to keep believing in the Calais invasion for weeks, even months. If he figures it out and sends those divisions to Normandy, The breakout will fail, thousands more will die. June 7th, day after D-Day, the Allies are barely holding the beachheads. Casualties are massive. They're pinned down. German reinforcements are starting to arrive, but not from Calais, from other areas. The 5th Army at Calais still hasn't moved. Why? Because MI5 and the double agents are working? Overtime, Agent Garbo's masterpiece, June 9th, 3 days after D-Day. Garbo sends an urgent message to Berlin. 2 a.m., he radios. Patton's army is preparing to move. Invasion of Calais is imminent. Normandy was a diversion to pull German forces away. The real invasion is about to begin. The message is 4 hours long, the longest transmission he ever sent. He provides detailed information, FUSAG troop movements, embarkation schedules. Target beaches at Calais timing estimates. German intelligence receives this message. They analyze it. It's detailed, specific, urgent. They believe him. Hitler's decision, June 10th. Hitler's generals are begging him. We need to send the 5th Army to Normandy. The Allies are breaking out. Hitler reads Garbo's report. He makes his decision. The 5th Army stays at Calais. Normandy is a feint. Patton will attack at Calais within days. We must be ready. The panzers stay put. The lie continues. For 7 weeks after D-Day, Hitler kept waiting for the Calais invasion. 7 weeks. The entire 5th Army, 250,000 soldiers, doing nothing while the Allies broke out of Normandy. By late July, it was too late. The Allies had broken through. The race across France had begun. When Hitler finally realized there was nitrogen monoxide Calais invasion, the war in France was already lost. Operation Fortitude achieved something unprecedented. It fooled Hitler not just before the invasion, but after, for weeks. Military historians estimate Operation Fortitude saved 100,000 to 200,000 Allied lives. It shortened the war in France by months, all because Hitler was staring at Calais, watching for Patton, guarding against an army made of rubber and lies. But like all great secrets, Operation Fortitude had a cost. Lives were spent to maintain the lie, and some secrets stayed buried for decades. Here's what they don't tell you about Operation Fortitude. It worked. It saved countless lives, but it also cost lives. The sacrifices. Some of the double agents never got credit, never got recognition. Agent Garbo, Juan Pujol Garcia, was awarded the Iron Cross by Germany for his excellent intelligence work. He was a LSO awarded the Member of the Order of the British Empire by Britain. The only person in history to receive decorations from both sides in WW2. But after the war, he disappeared. Faked his own death, lived in hiding for 40 years. Why? He was afraid of Nazi revenge. He lived in Venezuela under a fake name until 1984, when a historian finally found him. He died in 1988. Few people knew his story. The Ghost Army soldiers, the men who inflated those rubber tanks, who created the fake bases, who risked their lives on the front lines with no weapons. They were ordered to never talk about what they did. Top secret, classified. They went home, got normal jobs, and stayed silent for 50 years. The strategic cost. And here's the darkest part. The Allies had to maintain the deception even after D-Day, which meant they couldn't attack Calais immediately. They had to make Hitler keep believing it was the target. So Calais wasn't liberated until September 1944, 3 months after D-Day. The civilians in Calais suffered under German occupation for 3 extra months, because liberating them would reveal the deception. Was it worth it? Military leaders said yes. The strategic value outweighed the cost. But tell that to the families in Calais. War is never clean. It wasn't until 1974 that Operation Fortitude was fully declassified. 30 years after the war, the double agents finally got recognition. Books were written, documentaries made, but by then, many were dead or old, their greatest achievement hidden for decades. But Operation Fortitude's legacy isn't just historical. It changed how wars are fought forever. Operation Fortitude proved something revolutionary. Information warfare can be more powerful than actual warfare. Think about it. A fake army defeated a real one. Lies defeated truth. Theater defeated force. Modern warfare. Every military now has deception units, inspired by Fortitude. During the Gulf War, 1991, the U.S. used similar tactics. Fake radio traffic, dummy equipment. They convinced Saddam Hussein the main attack was coming from the ocean. It came from the desert. During the Iraq War, deception operations confused Iraqi forces about where coalition forces would strike. Cyber warfare. Today's version of Fortitude is happening in cyberspace. Fake social media accounts, deepfake videos, false intelligence planted online. Nations create fake digital armies, fake military units that exist only online. To confuse enemy satellites and intelligence, Russia used these tactics in Ukraine. Creating fake battalion movements, fake command structures. China does it. The US does it. Everyone does it. It's Fortitude 2.0, information operations. The real lesson of Fortitude isn't about rubber tanks. It's about controlling what the enemy believes. If you can control their perception, you control their decisions, make them defend the wrong place, waste their resources, exhaust their forces. You win without fighting. Sun Tzu wrote, "All warfare is based on deception." Operation Fortitude proved he was right. Operation Fortitude was the largest, most complex, most successful military deception in history. It involved thousands of people, hundreds of fake installations, millions of fake radio messages, dozens of double agents. And it worked perfectly. Hitler, one of history's most paranoid leaders, fell for it completely. The supreme commander of the German military, outwitted by artists with inflatable tanks and spies with radios. The final question: how many Operation Fortitudes are happening right now that we don't know about? How many fake armies exist in the Middle East, Eastern Europe, the Pacific? How many lies are being sold as truth? The answer we'll find out in 30 years. When they declassify it. Until then, God trust nothing, question everything. Because in war, as Operation Fortitude proved, the biggest weapon isn't always a bomb. Sometimes it's a lie. Today, there's a statue of Juan Pujol Garcia, Agent Garbo, in London. There are memorials to the Ghost Army in museums across America. Operation Fortitude is taught in every military academy in the world, but the real memorial? The lives saved. 100,000 to 200,000 soldiers who came home because German divisions were staring at an empty beach. Thousands of families who got their sons, brothers, fathers back because Hitler was fooled by rubber tanks. That's the legacy of Operation Fortitude. Not the deception itself, but the lives it saved. Because sometimes the greatest act of war is preventing one. This was Operation Fortitude, the fake invasion that saved D-Day, the lie that won World War II, the greatest deception in military history. I'm Warbound Secrets, and remember, in war, nothing is what it seems. Operation Fortitude used fake armies and double agents. But there was one deception even more insane. Operation Bodyguard, the umbrella plan that included Fortitude, where the Allies created a fake general, a fake headquarters, and convinced Hitler that Churchill was planning to invade from multiple directions at once. It involved Hollywood set designers, famous actors, and the most elaborate spy game ever played. I'll cover it in a future video, but next ... I'm going to show you the siege of Bastogne, where 18,000 American soldiers were surrounded by 55,000 Germans in the coldest winter of the century. And their commander's response to surrender demands was one word: nuts. Click the video, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next operation.